What's up, guys? Your boy Tricky, and you already know what time it is. Everyone has been on my case asking when I was going to drop my top 10 predictions for the Men's Physique Mr. Olympia 2023. Well, I had to save the best for last. You guys know I have a track record for predicting who's going to be in the top 10, and I've been right 4 years in a row. So without much ado, here we go. First athlete I believe is going to be in the top 10 is none other than Daniel Amons. Daniel is definitely a guy to look out for. He did incredible last year, but for some reason he couldn't make it to last year's Olympia, I believe due to health reasons. Okay, I think he's coming in hot this time, and he's definitely going to make his presence felt at this year's Olympia. So I have him at 10th place. At 9th place, Jeremy Potvin. When you look at Jeremy's competition history at the Olympia, his best performance ever was 3rd place in 2016, and his worst placing was 10th place in 2018. I don't believe he's gonna do worse than that. Plus, looking at his recent shape, he's definitely a top contender in the men's physique division. So I predict Jeremy Potvin is going to be in the 9th place this year. Next is Corey Morris. Corey Morris has grown so much as an athlete in recent times and has been compared to the current Mr. Olympia, Aaron Banks. And when they stand side to side, you can see why. He placed 8th last year, and I believe he's still going to be in the 8th place this year. Next is Andre Ferguson. Andre Ferguson is an absolute legend when it comes to men's physique. His performance at the Olympia has been nothing to write home about lately. He placed 10th place last year at the Olympia, his worst ever. I have him doing much better this year at 7th place. Next is Edvan Palmiera. Edvan shocked the world when he placed top 5 last year at the Mr. Olympia. He's gotten even better this year, and he dominated every stage he stepped on this year. There's no doubt he's going to be in the mix at the Olympia, and I have him at 6th place this year. Now, for the athletes in the top 5, any of them can win the whole thing. So I'm not going to put them in specific positions, okay? Any athlete I mention in the top 5 can win the entire thing. So in my top 5, first person I have in the top 5 is Jeremy Buendia. Buendia is probably the best to ever do it, the GOAT himself. After a long pause from the division, he's back to show the world how it's done. I've seen his physique updates and he looks phenomenal, but I doubt he can win it this year. But then anything can happen. So I have him in my top 5, and he might just carry the whole thing. Next is Ryan Terry. Ryan has been one of the athletes who's improved drastically over the years, and this year is no exception. I honestly thought he could have done better at last year's Olympia, but according to him, his posing was what cost him his placing last year. This year, I've seen him work on his posing, and I know for sure he's coming in the best he's ever been. So there's absolutely no doubt he's going to make it into the top 5 and possibly win the whole thing. Ryan is the most men's physique athlete out here, and he's therefore in my top pick to win it all. Next is Kyron Holden. He caused a major upset when he beat the reigning champion Aaron Banks at a Legion Fest show a few weeks before the Olympia, making this Olympia one of the most competitive ever. Kyron has always been a top pick at the Olympia, and this year won't be much different. He's definitely coming in guns blazing, and he's going to try to pull another upset. Kyron could honestly win it all. Looking at his new physique, he is in my top 5, and I can't wait to see what physique he brings to the stage and what kind of posing routine he has in store for us. Next is Brandon Hendrickson. Brandon Hendrickson is a 3-time Mr. Olympia. He's been there, done that. He's even come back from losing his title and regaining it in 2020. So when we talk about kings of comebacks, he cannot be skipped. Brandon placed second at last year's Olympia and will be looking to win his 4th Olympia title this year. It's not going to be an easy fit with the caliber of athletes we have competing this year, but Brandon can surely pull it off. He's undoubtedly a top contender and could win it all. Therefore, in my top 5. And last but not the least, Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks is the defending champion and will be coming back to defend his title. A few weeks before the Olympia, he got beaten at the Legion First Pro Show, which was a major upset by Karen Holden. Banks will be looking to shut down the debate as to who's the best by successfully defending and winning his 2nd Olympia title. So Banks is definitely a top contender to win it all once again. Now to my notable dark horse mentions. Charger Grant. Charger Grant placed 4th last year at the Olympia, so you might be wondering why I don't have him in my top 10. Last year I predicted he was going to be in the top 10 and he made it to 4th best athlete in the world. But this year he struggled. He competed 3 times before he got a win. The 4th best athlete in the world shouldn't struggle to beat athletes out of the top 10 in the world. Therefore, I don't have him in my top 10, but I don't believe he'll do worse than 12th place. So anywhere from 12th to 10th place, I believe Charger Grant is still in the mix. Ben Quill married me. If any athlete could slip into the 10th to 12th spot, it's definitely Ben Quill. His recent physique update shows him looking better than he's ever looked, and we know his posing is always on point. So Ben Quill is a notable mention of athletes that could just slip into the top 10. Next notable mention is Diogo Montenegro. Diogo has placed 3rd 2 years in a row at the Olympia, so you might be wondering why I have him out of the top 10. Well, to be honest, I haven't seen much of him all year, so I can't be sure he's going to make the top 10 considering the caliber of athletes showing up for this year's Olympia. He could still pull a surprise and land comfortably in the top 5. I won't be surprised. That is why he is a notable mention. And for the very final notable dark horse mention, Adeyemi Awoyemi, he is on nobody's list, but he is on mine. He won a jam-packed show to make it to the Olympia. He beat some of the best athletes in Europe to qualify for the Olympia, so I wouldn't sleep on him. He could just slip into the top 10 this year. He's a much taller athlete, so very noticeable. He's also got a really good physique, and therefore watch out for Adeyemi Awoyemi at this year's Mr. Olympia 2023. So I made it really quick, no beating about the bush, and these are my top picks for the Olympia. Who do you have in your top 5, and who do you think can win it all at this year's Mr. Olympia? Let me hear from you in the comment section below. It's been your boy Tricky. This is Men's Physique Update. Peace out.